Hello everyone, welcome to Group 6's presentation video, wherein we will be discussing about how the political system, economic system, ideology, and system of government is in Thailand, Indonesia, and Vietnam, as well as the most influential domestic political challenges that changed the ruling regime, and towards the end we will be talking about the similarities and the stark contrast between the three countries. To guide our viewers for this presentation, there are Brenda, Vio, Salsa, Nesha, and last but not least, Nabila. To start everything off, Nesha will be telling us about the political system in Thailand.
Thailand political system. Thailand is a constitutional monarchy, which means that the king is the head of state, but his powers are largely ceremonial. The monarchy holds significant cultural and symbolic importance in Thailand with the parliamentary democratic government system, where the king is not involved in practical politics but uses his constitutional rights through the legislative, executive, and judiciary institutions.
The economic system used by Thailand is a mixed economic system. In the mixed economic system, the government and the private sector work together in organizing and carrying out the economic activity of a country. The currency used in Thailand is baht.
So, how is the ideology of Thailand? Thailand is a non Western country that has developed a strong state ideology based on indigenous political traditions to counter the spread of Western liberalism, declaring that no person shall exercise his constitutional rights and liberties in a manner adversely affecting the nation, religion, king, and constitution, as stated in Article 45 of the present constitution, unambiguously establishes national ideology. Put another way, these four constitutions must be the focus of all Thai people's devotion. The concepts of nation and religion are closely associated in this worldview. These notions are also essential to the traditional Thai Buddhist understanding of kingship. According to this perspective, the monarch should reign justly, acting as a dependable guardian and leading by example via the moral precepts of Buddhism. This means that the concept of nation in this ideology is not the same as that of Western liberal nationalism.
So, as explained earlier, Thailand's political system, which is a constitutional monarchy, makes Thailand have a king as the head of state, but the head of government is the prime minister, which is where the prime minister is elected by the Thai people, which ultimately makes the Thai state arguably adheres to a parliamentary democratic system of government.
Indonesian political system. Indonesian political system takes place within the framework of presidential representative democratic republic, where the president of Indonesia is the head of state and head of government. Indonesia has a multi-party system with Pancasila as the state ideology. However, in its development, Indonesia has developed several different democratic systems, including 1. Liberal parliamentary democracy, 1945 to 1959. Indonesia officially became an independent country. Liberal democracy is a political system that adheres to individual freedom, which is still implemented responsibly. 2. Guided democracy or old order, 1959 to 1965. Guided democracy is a democratic system where all decisions and thoughts are centered on the leader of the country, which the president dominates. 3. Pancasila democracy in the New Order era, 1969 to 1998. Pancasila democracy is a democracy based on the Pancasila principles, which are seen as a unified whole. The running of the government and state administration must be based on the 1945 Constitution and Pancasila. 4. Post-Reformation democracy, 1998 to present. After the fall of President Suharto in May 1998, Indonesia experienced a process of political reform which opened up opportunities for the development of democracy. During this period, Indonesia implemented a more open and participatory democratic system. Currently, Indonesia adheres to a presidential government system that separates executive, legislative, and judicial powers.
Currently, the economic system implemented by Indonesia is the Pancasila economic system. Because the Pancasila economic system can help the welfare of the people, especially the welfare of UKM or small and medium business, which use the majority of human labor, and the currency used in Indonesia is the rupiah.
Moving on to the ideology of Indonesia. Given that it is an open ideology, Pancasila is flexible enough to adjust to changing circumstances without compromising the core principles it upholds. As an idea or theory whose veracity is accepted as the national way of life for the Indonesian people, Pancasila is employed to address every issue that arises in Indonesia and consistently offers solutions. Pancasila, which states 1. Believe in the one supreme God, 2. Justice and civilized humanity, 3. The unity of Indonesia, 4. The democracy led by understanding wisdom among honorable representatives from the Parliament House, and 5. Social justice for all Indonesia's citizens, has been the consensus of the country's founding fathers since August 18, 1945. In order to ensure that there are no unsolvable issues for Indonesian citizens, Pancasila ought to have permitted every citizen and been correctly practiced by all. This also applies to those in positions of authority and policy who are viewed as role models regardless of age.
Unlike Thailand, Indonesia is led by a president who is not only the head of state but also the head of government. From the two positions held by the president holds the highest power in the government. However, the existing president is the result of the choice of the Indonesian people themselves. That is why we can say that Indonesia adopts the presidential system as its government system.
3. Vietnam political system. Vietnam is a socialist republic with a one-party system. The Communist Party of Vietnam, CPV, is the sole legal political party, and it plays a central role in the country's governance. Vietnam's political system is authoritarian, with freedom of assembly, association, expression, press religion, and civil society activism severely restricted. There is no freely elected national leader. Political opposition is suppressed. All religious activities are controlled by the CPV. Dissent is not allowed and civil rights are restricted. Elections in Vietnam take place under a one-party authoritarian political system, which is the CPV.
Initially, Vietnam economic system was planned and centralized. Since the middle 1918, this country has begun to adopt a mixed economic system with indicative planning through 5-year plans. During this period, Vietnam economy experienced quite rapid growth, and the currency used by Vietnam is dong.
Vietnam's history, culture, and political development have produced the country's diverse ideological environment. Vietnam is primarily influenced by nationalism, communism, Confucianism, and a strong sense of independence. Vietnam's philosophy combines nationalism, communist ideals, Confucian values, and a dedication to independence. Despite having a one party system of government, the nation has demonstrated flexibility in its economic policies, demonstrating a practical approach to governance.
While for Vietnam, there is only one party, and that party is the Communist Party. In terms of the government system itself, the highest power is held by the Prime Minister. In the end, Vietnam adopts a parliamentary system of government with communist characteristic in its system of government. However, the Vietnamese people still hold general elections to choose their prime minister, so they also adhere to socialist democracy.
The most influential domestic political challenges that change the regime. The first one is Indonesia. Indonesia has experienced various domestic political challenges that have influenced its change in the rule regime. Some of the key domestic political challenges include: first, student protests, Reformasi era. In 1998, widespread student-led protests and public demonstrations took place, demanding political reform and an end to the authoritarian rule of President Suharto. Second, economic crisis 1997 until 1998. The Asian financial crisis in the late 1990s had a severe impact on Indonesia's economy. The resulting economic downturn, characterized by currency depreciation, inflation, and widespread unemployment, fueled public dissatisfaction and contribute to the calls for political change. Third, regional autonomy and separatist movements. Indonesia is an archipelagic nation with diverse ethnic and cultural groups. The demand for regional autonomy, particularly in areas like Aceh and Papua, has been existential. The government response to separatist movement has influenced political dynamics. The second is Thailand. Thailand has experienced several domestic political challenges that have influenced change in the ruling regime. Some of the key domestic political challenges include: first, coup d'etats. Thailand has a history of military coups, and these events have played a significant role in changing the ruling regime. Succession. The monarchy is a key institution in Thailand. A change in the royal family, including succession, can have political implications. The passing of King Bhumibol Adulyadej in 2016 and the subsequent ascension of King Vajiralongkorn marked a significant period in Thai politics. First, economic reforms. Doi Moi. In the late 1980, Vietnam introduced economic reforms known as Doi Moi, which shifted the country from a centrally planned economy to a socially-oriented market economy. This reform aimed at improving economic performance, attracting foreign investment, and reducing poverty. Second, normalization of relations with the United States. The normalization of diplomatic relations between Vietnam and the United States in 1995 had significant geopolitical implications. It contributed to Vietnam's reintegration into the international community and helped improve the country's economic prospects. Vietnam's political system is unique, and the GPV's leader remains central to the country's governance. While there have been economic and social change, a change in the ruling regime akin to multi-party democracy has not occurred.
Moving on to the last thing on the list, we will be talking about their similarities and differences. The first similarity we can see is in their economic system. Actually, in this case, Indonesia has the most different economic system, but the way it is implemented in this is the same. Only the focus is different. Vietnam and Thailand use a mixed economic system, combining market and command economies to run their economies, with a focus on economic efficiency and economic stability. While Indonesia adheres to the Pancasila economic system, whose goals are the same, it focuses more on the interests of society and the common good for people. Vietnam, with its history of being colonized by Europeans, made them adopt communism as their ideology, so their system of government also leads to a communist system, while it is different from Indonesia, which adheres to Pancasila as its ideology, which is very contrary to the communist ideology. So it is impossible for Indonesia to adopt the communist system as its system of government, and as well as for Thailand.